Welcome to the module on trading and broking operations, where we will briefly describe the focus or purpose of the module. Welcome all to the trading and broking operations. So in level 1, you have seen how the trades are get executed, how the clients are onboarded. Now in this model, we are going to see the clearing and settlement and the role of the trading member in doing the clearing and settlement. So once the trade is executed on the stock exchange, it will not be complete until and unless the complete clearing and settlement has been taken place. So what it means is that suppose a buyer A has bought equity shares and buyer 2B has sold the equity shares. So the buyer A has to get a security in his account, and the seller B has to get the funds in his accounts, and then we will say the trades has been completed. So this basically happen through clearing and settlements. So in this model, we are going to see what are the various participants who are participating in the clearing and settlement, what are the roles of trading member for clearing and settle their clients' transactions and their own transactions. So let's begin with this model. So basically, we first acknowledge contribution of Northeast Broking Private Limited, who has helped for creating these presentations. Northeast is basically a member of the NSC, BSC, Multi-Stock Exchange and NCDEX, and NISM acknowledge the contributions provided by the Northeast Broking Limited and other participants for completing this model. So basically, as I said, once the trade has been executed, it needs to be get settled. So for settlement, first identify the obligations. Now if you take the first example where the buyer A has bought the security, so for him the obligation he has to provide the fund, and the seller B who has sold the security, for him the obligation is to provide the security. So first part of any clearing and settlement is to find out the obligation, which is generally called a clearing activity. And then the settlement will take place where the buyer will give the funds and he will receive the security, and the seller will give the security and he will receive the funds. So that is the settlement part, which is basically a discharge of obligation. So the clearing is basically a generation of obligation and settlement is basically a discharge of obligations. So in case of clearing, we have to find out how much member has to give the delivery or how much member is supposed to receive the securities. On the other hand, how much member has to receive a fund or he has to give the funds. Now there are 4 major participants in the clearing and settlement. First is the clearing corporation, then the clearing member and the custodians, then the clearing bank, and the fourth one is a depository and depository participants. So in next few slides, we will see this role of all these 4 participants in detail. In the next topic, you will learn about clearing process.